This is the PokerStars.net Caribbean Adventure. Just 2 tables remain here in the main event, but only 1 table matters, the final table. And before this day is out, it will be set. To Paradise Island in the Bahamas, and at the heart of this water wonderland is one of the biggest and greatest resorts in the world. Atlantis has a vast array of unique and beautiful pools, so there's always plenty of room for people to swim whenever they like. Of course, that's not the case in poker, as inside there are only 8 seats at the final table. It's a high-stakes game of musical chairs, and each of the remaining players desperately hope to secure one of the coveted seats.
Dealers, shuffle up and deal.
4 days ago is when the game truly began.
Win-win, double win here.
A record-setting field of over 1,500 players created a prize pool of nearly $15 million US. A staggering 2.2 million of which will go to the winner. When the penultimate day began, 24 players were left, each dreaming that they could make the final table.
It's easy now.
But for a third of them, that dream is over.
Thank you, guy.
Now there are only 2 tables left. John Duffy took some hits but has survived.
Yeah, I can win it. I know I can.
While Barry Shulman, Thomas Corral and chip leader Ryan D'Angelo continue to thrive.
I really feel like I'm ready to win this one. I think it's my tournament to lose.
And with Coral's recent elimination of Wayne Bentley,
it's a pretty nice feeling.
We're down to just 15 players, each hoping to make it to the final table and have a chance to take home one of poker's most prestigious prizes.
We are about to get cards in the air. I'm James Hartigan alongside Gavin Griffin. This is an amazing tournament and just 15 players remain, spread over 2 tables. On the outer table is the World Series of Poker Europe champion Barry Shulman. Benzimani's the chip leader at that table. There's also the youngest player in the tournament, Harrison Gimbel. And then on the stage, under the lights and cameras, is our feature table, which includes John Duffy and the chip leader, Ryan D'Angelo, who's a dead ringer for Benny Blanco from the Bronx in Carlito's Way. Those are his chips. See what I mean, Gavin? Is that a good spot?
That's pretty good. I like that. And he won 2 events in the W Coupe, the biggest online tournament series of the year.
The biggest live series is the World Series. John Duffy got 2nd place in the Heads Up Championship. And he is the 3rd biggest stack in the room right now. Blinds 25 and 50,000 with a 5,000 ante. Duffy folds under the gun. Ryan D'Angelo is going to play kings, obviously. Question is, how does he play them? Well, he's going to make a smallish raise. And this is not good for Bo Schultz, who has found ace-king and shoves for his last 650,000. This is what they call an autopilot hand, Gavin.
Yeah, and we see Matt Haugen there with the ace-queen. He's in a tough spot because Bo Schultz doesn't have a ton of chips. He could certainly isolate here and try to get heads up with Schultz. Ace-queen rates to be a better hand than his, and that would be a really bad spot for him because of D'Angelo's hand behind him.
A disciplined laydown.
It's a very, very good, very tight laydown. It was a heck of a laydown.
Call.
Insta-call by D'Angelo, obviously, with kings, the 2nd best starting hand.
And Schultz nonplussed. He doesn't seem too fazed by the fact that D'Angelo has the 2 kings.
He has just the 1 overcard. And he's going to need to hit that ace, or running spades, which would give him the nut flush.
D'Angelo in good shape to bust another player.
Spade draw's dead. So now he's down.
2 aces left in the deck since Haugen folded one.
To 2 outs.
River is a queen of diamonds.
But no,
a round of applause for
kings
Bo.
of D'Angelo hold up. And Matt Haugen, let's have a little smile there, because of course, had he played the ace-queen, it would have been very different.
Yeah, that's not one of those situations where, you know, it's like he had 7 deuce, and if he had played, he would have made a full house. It's actually a hand he could have put money in with.
More chips for the chip leader. He's moved over the 10 million mark, 10.3 million.
So many chips, he has to stand up to stack them.
Someone else with a lot of chips is Barry Shulman. the owner of Card Player magazine, not involved in this hand. It was Ben Zamani who raised it up from the button, and now Richard Toth has moved all in. The decision back on Zamani.
Zamani looks really unhappy. I think that's the kind of look I give before I call when I hate calling.
Well, Zamani is actually way in front here.
Yeah, he's a huge favorite with having 2 6s against Toth's 6-5 offsuit.
Only running 5s. There are some split pot possibilities, and Richard Toth always has a good sense of humor about the situation and still smiles as he is eliminated from the tournament in 14th place. The Hungarian pro collects $115,000.
You know, I'm still really impressed about how everybody busting out of this tournament seems just incredibly happy about it.
It can't last, that's for sure.
I guess they get to go out to the beach and hang out after they bust, so it doesn't really matter too much.
Yeah, that might have something to do with it. Blinds have gone up, by the way. We're now playing 30,000, 60,000.
Duthie with a pretty tight fold from the cutoff with the Queen 8 of spades.
Zach Goldberg folds the button, so action on Ryan D'Angelo in the small blind.
What do you got down there, guy?
865.
I go all in.
All in back.
Shoves on Haugen.
And Haugen's going to call for sure.
Call.
D'Angelo flips over the ace-deuce. Haugen will show the 7s.
I mean, D'Angelo knows that he's going to be, when he's called, he's going to be against a better hand, but he's still making a profitable play.
He's going to flop like a straight draw. 10-8, 10-8-6, ace.
Flop comes 3-6-3, 3 of diamonds, 6 of diamonds, 3 of hearts.
His predictions are a bit off today. 7s is still out.
4 diamonds.
Diamond draw is dead.
Nice, nice hand.
Got to hit an ace to eliminate Haugen.
8 what?
865 total. Yeah.
A nice double up there for Haugen. He gets himself to 1.7 million. And he's got a good stack to play with now.
Probably snap calls with worse hands, I bet. Maybe not.
Didn't cost you much.
Welcome back to Paradise Island. The players flock to the PokerStars.net Caribbean Adventure for the poker, yet for those who have been eliminated, there's a whole lot to do here away from the felt at Atlantis. But for the 13 players remaining, there's no time to frolic in the sun or dance in the surf. They have their sights set on one thing, the final table. So let's head back to the poker room.
And on the outer table, another all-in confrontation. Harrison Gimbel re-raised Clint Talbot all in before the flop, and Talbot made the call with jacks, but Gimbel flipped over queens.
Tough spot for Talbot with 13 people left just off the final table. He's got 2 jacks and runs into 2 queens. And Gimbel flops a queen even. This is a really, really brutal spot for Tolbert. The only way he can win now is running jacks.
That is why he has just a 1% chance, and he's drawing dead on the turn.
And 1% was an overstatement there. He literally has 1 out of 47 and then 1 out of 46. He has to hit those specific 2 perfect cards to win.
Now just 12 players remaining. We are getting ever closer to the final table. Ryan D'Angelo still way out in front with 9.5 million in chips. And at the bottom of the leaderboard, it's Dimitri Hefter from Germany and the Canadian player Darren Keys. Well, Matt Haugen currently sitting on around 2.3 million. That double up through Ryan D'Angelo coming at just the right time for him. He's now 8th on the leaderboard. And to think that early on in the PCA, he almost quit the tournament and returned home.
After I finished playing on day 2, I got up to my hotel room and I got a phone call. Found out my dad, they found a tumor like around his spine and he was being airlifted to a hospital. I was planning on forfeiting my chips. and you know, going home because it was pretty serious. I thought he could be like paralyzed. And then I talked to my dad right before the surgery. I was able to get a hold of him, and he told me to stay and play. It sounds kind of weird, but it'd almost be selfish for me to go and not stay and play. Because I knew that's what he would want me to do. That's what I did. That night, I didn't sleep at all. I was up all night, and I sat down at a table and I was just sort of like in poker mode. It's like the whole world is shut out, and you're just focused on the cards. Everything seems to have turned out as well as can be expected. He got rid of the tumor, and he can move his arms and legs, so I'll be back there soon.
And with the support and inspiration of his father, Matt has continued a deep run in this tournament. More than 1,500 players entered, and here he is in the final 12. An amazing accomplishment. Not going to play this hand. Tyler Ryman. Queen 9 on the button.
Ty's going to make the standard opening to just over 2 times the big blind on the button. And I expect Duthie to defend a wide range here. He loves to defend his blinds. 7-4 suited is certainly within that range.
Duthie will make the call, and we will be heads up to the flop. Well, they've both missed.
Ty should probably bet here
And he does. 225,000.
How much are you playing altogether? 3 million?
4.5.
4.5.
part of the value of
I'm gonna
defending
raise.
a hand like 7-4 suited is you can make a bluff on flops like this. You don't have to flop something in order to raise here.
Impossible for Ryman realistically to call this raise.
Yeah, Ty can't really call here. He might be able to 3-bet, but he opts to fold, take the safe way.
John Duthie will gladly take in that pot with the mighty 7-4. Not too much of a knock to Ryman's stack. Duthie's still sitting above the 5 million mark. Over at the outer table, a pot is building. On the flop, the action has been checked to Barry Shulman. He's made it 450,000. Action on Zamani. And he shoves.
Call.
And Shulman makes the call. It's cost him everything he's got to make this call, but he seems very eager to get his money in.
Wow. Impressive call from Barry for what seems to be a pretty large amount of chips. I think around,
I did bet everything.
just a little over 2 million. He calls off with ace high on a jack 9-3 flop.
The way he was so calm and confident, I thought he was going to flip over jacks there.
Yeah, it was a heck of a read. He seemed to just immediately call with the ace high.
You can
But he didn't need to improve, but he does. And Shulman doubles up through Benjamin Zamani.
That's a tough call, by the way.
Mr. Shulman is impressed.
As is the card player underling next to him.
Did someone say sycophant? Let's get back to our feature table, where John Duthie has around 5 million in chips. We saw him get the better of Ty Ryman, who cashed in last year's main event at the PCA.
No, for me.
And John, yes, you are under the gun with 8. Makes it 150 to play. Matt Haugen's folded. Duthie and Ryman going to play another pot.
It looks like they're going to clash again with Ty having ace-queen here. Just calls from out of position, doesn't want to make a big pot from the small blind.
Big blind is Tom Corral. Is he going to come along for the ride? I thought he might squeeze there, try and sense weakness and maybe come over the top of these two guys.
Getting a nice price, he makes the call with ace-3. He's going to hope to flop 2 pair and bust double through somebody with an ace.
Well, he doesn't flop 2 pair, and Ryman's ace-queen is good right now.
This is the problem you get into when you call with hands like ace-3, the real speculative aces. You want to put in money now when you flop the pair of aces, but you're often behind. And especially when you're out of position against such tough players, you never know where you're at in the hand.
The tie has made it 275,000. Coral's going to make the call. And Duthie will muck the 8s.
And Coral cannot improve to the best hand. He can only tie with tie.
You almost got tied up in that sentence there, Gavin.
It's going to be really tough for Coral to not pay off a river bet here. Tie can have a hand like king-queen or queen-jack just trying to win the pot.
He value bets the river for 525,000.
And once again, you see why you put yourself in a really tough position when you call with the ace-3, ace-5, ace-7 offsuit from out of position before the flop.
I hate this call.
Thomas calls 525,000.
He pays him off.
Ace
Good hand.
queen for aces and 4s with a queen.
Slide the ace queen like it's in the all in. Slide it from the left to right. Thank you.
Almost folded.
Thomas will
Ace
pass
9 or
and Ty
something.
takes the pot.
I had an ace.
It's a good play by Ty Ryman on that hand. He's a young-looking chap, but don't be fooled. He is quite experienced at this game.
I get carded everywhere I go. They always give me a hard time. Say I'm like 14. I'm 21 and I'm a professional poker player. I went to community college with plans to go to the University of Illinois. Things didn't work out that way. For now, I think poker is gonna stick. Put in so much work and so much time, and I feel like I know the game pretty well.
Pretty easy game.
I think a lot of people just look at me and think I'm young and I don't really know what I'm doing. They tend to usually not believe me when I bet. It's definitely an advantage. I like sliding under the radar because I don't like a lot of attention.
Sorry, man.
Now I just have my ID ready wherever I go. They say I'll appreciate it when I'm older, but I guess we'll see.
It's amazing how much experience these young guys can get so quickly, Gavin, playing online. You know, 50,000, 60,000 hands a day.
Yeah, I remember when I used to be the young guy. Now I feel like I'm older than everybody. 28's pushing it these days.
Ryan D'Angelo, tournament chip leader, is going to raise here with the Jack-10 off. And Ryman again with the ace-queen. And again, just calling the raise.
And again, you know, he's out of position, so it's not a bad idea to just call, keep the pot small, and try to play after the flop. It's going to be tough to put him on ace-queen in this situation.
Ryman flops the wheel draw. D'Angelo not with much. They will both check the flop.
Now anybody with a 5 here has a straight, so it's going to be hard for D'Angelo to represent a straight though, because he didn't bet the flop. So any hand like, you know, 7-5 or 8-5 that he might have raised would have bet that flop. Tie with the flush draw, 2 overcards. He's going to take one off here.
And of course, Ryman didn't need to hit. He was in front all along.
And Ty might be a little bit worried about that king. He doesn't have the king of spades in his hand, so D'Angelo could have like the king high flush draw and got there on the river. It seems unlikely that D'Angelo would have like 2 9s or 2 10s here because he would have bet on the flop. Ty's really mostly worried about maybe a 5 and possibly something like the king jack of spades. It would be a heck of a call if he called here. He's certainly pondering it.
Thinks better of it and lets the hand go.
I was about to make the biggest hero call of my life.
Ace high? Wow. That would have been sick.
I still think I had the best hand. Nice bet, though.
Instincts are right again. Let's see how the players are stacking up. Let's check out the leaderboard. D'Angelo's still way out in front with a 2-1 chip lead over the next man down. In the bottom half of the table, we can see that Darren Keys is still the short stack with 1.2 million in chips. 4 eliminations away from establishing the PCA main event final table. I put money on this guy getting a seat.
I think D'Angelo will probably be there, and we'll see who joins him.
He's going to open for a raise to 140,000.
There's Tyler Ryman on the button with 2 queens. And it looks like he's just going to call here. He's calling, maybe he's setting up someone to re-raise and try to squeeze behind him.
Duthie with aces.
Oh, wow. Now, if you'll remember from our graphic, Duthie's second in chips, Ryman is third in chips. And it's going to be really, really tough for Ryman to get away from this hand if Duthie re-raises.
Duthie makes it 540,000, and this is what Ryman was trying to set up.
Exactly. Yeah, he's hoping to get a raise behind him, and he's gotten it. He just might not want it as much as he thought he did.
An aggressive player like Duthie could be doing this with a wide range. He figures queens are probably good here.
I'm all in.
And he shoves, and John insta-calls.
And Ty knows it. He knows it. As soon as he just immediately called it, he knew he was beat. He set up the play.
Good luck, whatever happens. Good luck.
He just happened to run into aces.
A nice act of sportsmanship by John Duthie with 5 cards to come.
Such a huge spot right here. So close to the final table. Aces versus queens to take over the chip lead of the tournament.
And there's the queen on the flop.
Wow. Oh, and no reaction from either man. Duthie on the inside has to be steaming.
But he doesn't let his emotions get the better of him. And nice to see that Ryman didn't punch the air or stop whooping and hollering.
King on the turn. The only card that saves John is an ace on the river.
Needs to dodge either of the remaining aces in the deck.
2 outs for John Duthie. He's going to be crippled by this hand.
Wow.
And Tyler Ryman becomes chip leader.
Felt it coming as well.
Yeah, I'd probably be a little upset if I were John right now. He sees the vast majority of his chips shipped over to Ty Ryman, who now has over 10 million.
Very good instincts. I knew that queen was coming. Damn it.
John taking defeat gracefully, and Tyler Ryman getting it quietly as he becomes chip leader at the PCA.
Big pot. Big pot. Wow. Big pot.
A bad beat has driven John Duthie insane.
And Ty, even through the commercial break, hasn't stacked all of his chips yet.
He is the new chip leader in the tournament. He is sitting there with 10.24 million, just above Ryan D'Angelo. Shulman third in chips, Zamani is fourth, and John Duthie is down to just 1 big blind.
And he's going to post a lot of that in the small blind here.
You better go on and win it. What am I left with about? Enough for a taxi home, I think.
You're good sport, John.
Question is, does he even bother looking at his cards or just shove it in regardless?
Yeah, you don't want to look because you might find something that you want to fold. He's definitely going to be putting it all in blind here.
There we go.
Look, Jack.
John is all
I closed my eye
for
then.
55,000.
He's closing his eyes, but he's showing the whole card cam.
Oh, what a horrible spot. He's actually crushed by Coral's King 5.
Tom limping in on the button to try and bust Duthie here. I imagine he and Goldberg are going to check it down the whole way.
A queen! Hope, John, hope.
John doesn't know it yet, but he's taken a huge lead in this hand, where he can triple up to it almost. It's just barely over 3 big blinds. How about that? Yeah, Duthie's got a stranglehold on this hand. He now has the flush draw to go along with his top pair.
All right, let me see Thomas and Zach's hands.
King
to the
high.
side.
You got the pair?
High, king high. Pair of queens.
King high for the side pot for Thomas. John will triple up on that hand.
All right, thank you. Rebuilding.
Absolutely.
I would have rather gone out for a smoke, I'll be honest with you.
John, those things will kill you.
As will the stress of these tournaments.
Well, on the outer table, Shulman raised to 175,000 before the flop, then called the all-in re-raise from Darren Keys, and Keys is ahead with 5s. Shulman with ace king.
That's what it cost me to get in the tournament.
Zach is first.
I don't think I'm what it cost me to do.
He's too important to carry cash. He has people who do that for him.
All his underlings. Bad flop for Keys. Now a queen.
Don't get your chips out yet. You're gonna jinx me.
On the turn, gives Barry the win.
We'll blast every race this week. Don't worry about it.
Under a 5, a baby card. 3. I was thinking 3.
Yeah, pair of the board would be funny. If it was a queen.
Hilarious.
7 would be good.
Yeah, nice hand.
That wasn't a great flop for Keys, but the 5s do hold up, and he doubles up through Shulman.
Barry bemoaning his luck in races this week. I guess he forgot that he won one against Ben Zamani.
People only remember the hands they lose, Gavin. There's the trophy the players are chasing. 12 left. With 4 more eliminations, we'll have our final 8. This man is our chip leader right now, Ty Ryman.
Yeah, we saw the trophy, and the trophy and the title mean quite a bit. Not quite as much as the 2.2 million you get for winning it, but they mean something for sure.
I'm all in.
Duthie will shove for his last 175,000. It was the hand against Ryman which did the damage to him, though, when his aces got cracked by Ryman's queens. And with kings, Goldberg is certainly going to give John some action. He'll probably reshove here.
It looks like he's just calling. He wants I guess he wants D'Angelo involved for some reason. I don't know. I think I'd rather just shove and try to win this pot myself. There's a lot more value in the chips you can win by shoving that maybe D'Angelo wakes up with, 2 jacks or something, than there is in knocking out Duthie right now.
Goldberg is going to bet into the side pot. D'Angelo is going to call with top pair. And John thinks, if they're betting, I can't have the best hand.
Yeah, with a bet and a call, he's right to be putting his jacket on, that's for sure.
John, by the way, as we can see from the percentages, is drawing dead. He will be eliminated. Goldberg now shoves on the turn.
And D'Angelo's going to have a tough time calling here.
Ryan shows queen jack.
And he shows that he has folded a queen.
Yeah, he makes a really nice fold. Goldberg's shoving into a protected side pot. We're going to get to see his hand no matter what. So he's not really going to be bluffing too often. And D'Angelo makes a nice, disciplined laydown.
As for John Duthie, a 12th place finish. Very disappointing. He had his eyes set on the final table, his eyes set on first prize, and he was in a great position to get to that final table. One bit of bad luck, and his chips went to this man.
John Duthie takes 12th. John, are you not steaming right now after that hand?
No, I'm disappointed, but I kind of knew it was coming. The awful thing is sometimes you kind of know you're going to win a hand, and at other times you know you're going to lose.
Get that feeling.
And I just was 90% certain that he was going to win that hand. Yeah, absolutely certain he was going to win it, and I really trust my instinct.
Well, it's fantastic to see you play, John. It's a great result for the start of the year, and more to come from you in the future.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Lovely, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Well, when Ty Ryman won that hand against John Duthie, John said to him, you better go on and win it now. He has got the chip lead, 10.2 million.
Chippies. Just speechless, really.
Kind of in a daze.
Might want to focus. That's normally the best way to win a poker tournament.
I mean, I don't know that Ty's any more speechless than he usually is.
Yeah, I'm not sure they're going to be giving him his own chat show anytime soon. D'Angelo has certainly not been quiet, not when it comes to playing hands. Very active at this feature table, and here we see him raising the button with threes.
Ty in the big blind with 2 10s. And he's taking this opportunity to re-raise. Now he's got some chips. He's a little more willing to mix it up.
Right, time for a $10 million pot.
Previously, out of the blinds, he just called with big hands. Now he's re-raising. Now he's got some chips to play with.
King at Jack flop.
It's kind of an action-killing hand when they both have good hands. If Ty had, you know, a bluff here, if he had the 10-8 or something like that, I'd expect him to bet. But since he has 10s, he's probably going to want to get to showdown pretty cheap here.
They both have jacks full. And still no betting action.
The river 5, I would expect Ty to try to get a little bit of value right here.
I have a
he
full
doesn't,
house.
he checks.
Me too.
Check and check. They said they both have full houses.
What did you have, 7s?
He's not going to show you.
Really surprising that Ty didn't bet.
I should have bet, yes. I'm a nit.
Yeah, I should have bet for sure. I would have called him.
Electrifying dialogue here.
Ryman extends his chip lead, and over at the outer table, Harrison Gimbel has re-raised Dimitri Hefter all in before the flop. Dimitri makes the call and finds himself ahead with pocket queens against Harrison Gimbel's ace-jack suited. Oh, he picks up a diamond draw on the turn.
Picks up the diamond draw and a straight draw. 5, a diamond, or an ace wins the pot for Harrison.
Hefter, 2-1 favourite to double up here. But it's the queen of diamonds. That is such a sick card. It gives him 3 queens, but it gives Gimbel the nut flush.
Yeah, it's a really ugly card. You're excited to see the queen, but then you realize it's a diamond, and you're out the door.
$130,000 for his 11th place finish. 10 now remain in the PCA main event.
And Harrison with 4.68 million. He's starting to climb the chip counts.
Hefter can go off and enjoy some sun and sunshine. The players love being here on Paradise Island, with good reason. But what if they found themselves trapped on a deserted island?
If I had to be stuck on a desert island, I don't want to have poker players with me. No.
Oh, who would I?
That is a super difficult question.
Can you think of anybody?
William Dawson, because he's probably the funniest.
Luca, because he's Italian, is my friend.
That's Russo, because you're on an island, you kind of want to leave it on an island.
I'd be like queen of the island, and they'd be building me my palace.
Andre Kari and Alexander Gomez, because, you know, Brazilians like to have a lot of fun. I'm pretty sure that they're good at surviving.
I would lie there while they brought me food. I didn't come here to climb trees and light fires.
Maybe Chad Brown, because he's strong.
I'm stranded on a desert island. I have needs. Probably gonna be Chad for one of them.
Daniel Negreanu, because I think he's the man.
This is tough. I got nobody.
Should be Vanessa Russo, Katia Tatter, and Vicky Corrin. Why? Oh, well, because we can play a lot of poker, you know.
And I hope to God that never happens.
One at a time, Luca, or all at once?
Do you think Vicky's more disgusted about being trapped on the desert island or trapped on the desert island with Luca?
Bit from column A, bit from column B. Matt Haugen, 1.6 million in chips. First to act here, has ace-9.
Attention, everyone.
Riz.
Raising the button for 140,000 and Jack King for Ryman in the
What did you start with?
1.6.
Smooth calls.
Ty reverting to his old ways of flat calling from the blinds, and Tom Coral doesn't seem to have learned his lesson of calling with ace-3 earlier. Now he's going to make a flat with ace-5 from the big blind.
So they're going to go three-way to the flop. And that flop is all clubs. Tom Coral, the only player with a club in his hand. How do you play a 5-high club draw?
You check it down, hope you get there, and hope nobody bets. I think is how you usually do that.
He gets there.
He gets there. He's going to hope to get to showdown for free if he can.
Ryman with top pair obliges and checks. Well, this might just get checked down, you know.
Yeah, there's a check. Coral obviously is going to check here. He gets no value from betting. Huggin's thinking about making a stab, I think. It's not a bad play. He might check the flop on the turn with the 9 of clubs in his hand.
Haugen makes it 260,000. Ryman gets out of the way, and Coral with a difficult decision now.
This is the exact spot he was in last time he called with a bad ace from the big blind.
Got like the 8 of clubs or 9 of clubs.
He's faced with a river bet that he doesn't really want to call in the river, but he feels like he has to.
This time he's right, though.
You got it.
I got it?
No, you got it.
Yeah, Tom Coral wins the pot. Meanwhile, Matt Haugen's chip stack is really starting to dwindle. Let's see how all the players stand in chips, with just 10 of them remaining in the PCA main event. Ty Ryman and Ryan D'Angelo continue to be first and second in chips. Barry Shulman still in third, and in the bottom half of the leaderboard, Matt Haugen and Darren Keys are the short stacks. Keys with just under $1 million.
Our 10th place finisher will get 150,000 and will combine to one table of 9 players.
Well, Keys is all in here.
Come on, Barry, you got one more loss in you, don't you?
Probably. I've lost every race in 2 days.
Here's Ace King up against Barry Shulman's jacks.
And Barry still hasn't won a race.
And I bet a 6-5 favorite for a change.
What does that mean?
It means the odds are not his strong point.
That gives you 4 more outs.
Always interesting, isn't it?
Aces, kings, and 4s now working for Keys.
You don't mind my color.
Same outs needed on the river.
And hugs. Hugs are outs too.
Don't forget the 4 4s.
No, 5 outs.
Barry, you've won a race.
Good game, everybody.
And that sees the end of Darren Keys. $150,000 for that 10th place finish. And yes, 9-handed action around our feature table will now commence. Shulman with more than 7 million. And his wife Alan is so excited. We're excited too, because when we lose another player, we'll be down to the final table at the 2010 PCA main event.
Over 1,500 players began the PCA main event. Only 9 remain. 8 will end the day happy, while 1 will not have a seat at the final table.
So just 9 players remain in the PCA main event. Ty Ryman has the chip lead, Ryan D'Angelo in second, and Barry Shulman a strong third. The short stack is Matt Haugen. He has just over 1 million in chips. As 9-handed play begins, this is the point, Gavin, where the next man out bubbles the final table.
Yeah, the next man out bubbles the final table and bubbles the big money jumps that come up at the final table.
Anyone here over 35?
I'm the oldest, 26.
26? Really?
Yeah, I asked him already. 26.
26. 26 is the oldest.
I might have grandchildren your age.
Don't say that too loud in front of Alan. She thinks she'd probably know if he has grandchildren that age.
Harrison Gimble's the youngest player at the table. He's 19. Ty Ryman is 21. And Ryan D'Angelo is third oldest at 24.
Raise, make it 200.
Marnie will open this one with a raise to 200,000. King Queen offsuit.
There's Matt Haugen, our short stack, and no cards to go with his no chips.
Gimble with ace jack. He's going to make the call from the small blind. Not much for Shulman.
2 straight, right?
Yes, sir.
Feels he's priced in with the big blind invested already.
And Barry loves to defend with hands like these, the one gappers, cards that can make straights. And he's flopped a straight draw this time. As has Benzimani. Everybody gets a piece. Benzimani's got 2 overcards and a straight draw, a gut shot straight draw, and Gimble's got top pair, top kicker.
Zamani was the pre-flop raiser and continues. Makes it 280,000.
You know, on the bubble of the final table, with someone like Haugen having such short chips, I don't expect that, you know, Gimble's going to want to play a huge pot with just top pair, so he's just calling here. He's giving up a little bit of his stake in the pot by just allowing everybody to draw, but he's keeping the pot small and making sure it doesn't get out of hand, and he doesn't want to go bust and bubble the final table.
Jack.
Both Gimble and Zamani pick up a flush draw on the turn.
In case you missed it, Barry checked.
And everybody checks.
The 9 on the river changes nothing.
Gimble checks, looking to pick off a bluff here from either Barry or Zamani.
Barry has decided to throw 500,000 out there to try and pick up this pot. Zamani releases.
Don't really expect Gimble to fold here.
Call.
Call.
Nothing.
Barry showed that. Maybe he was trying to get Gimble, the inexperienced live player, to just muck his hand once he turned over his cards, because he showed it with such force.
Sorry, Mr. Shulman, he didn't win the hand.
Is this your first final table, Barry?
Huh?
Is this your first final table?
No. And hopefully not my last.
I think everyone knows that Barry Shulman won the World Series of Poker Europe. He's wearing the bracelet, of course. Ryan D'Angelo is messing with him, I believe.
Yeah, a little needle right there from D'Angelo.
Ace-Jack for Ryman. He's going to make it 185,000. Second in chips right now is Ryan D'Angelo, who has exactly the same hand.
And he knows that Ty can be opening pretty wide here as the chip leader, so he's going to take advantage of that 3-bet and try to get Ty off of the same hand.
Re-raises to 450,000. And he gets rid of the blind, so it comes back to Ty Ryman.
I'm surprised to see Ty just call here. I would expect him to either re-raise or fold. You know, either putting D'Angelo on a steal or trying to move him off of the hand. D'Angelo with the pre-flop initiative keeps control of the betting and fires 625 on the flop. It's going to be tough for Ty to call here. That flop hits D'Angelo's range pretty hard.
Ryman folds. And just like that, Ryan D'Angelo wins the pot and takes back the chip lead. He has 126 big blinds, but look at the bottom of the table. Matt Haugen is now getting really short stack, down to just 11 big blinds. Shovel fold now for him.
Yeah, Matt's going to have to find a hand that he's ready to go broke with and put the chips in.
Of course, everyone wants to come back tomorrow. Final table appearances are something that players like to have on their resume, but also the big money, including that first prize here at the PCA of $2.2 million. Well, Haugen has found a hand he's willing to make a stand with. Ace-6, all his chips go in.
Yeah, any ace in this spot is a raising hand, and he's certainly not going to raise to less than all of his chips.
All in.
Shulman finds a hand and reshoves. Indeed you are. He has got the 1-over card though, and that does mean he's 7-3 against. Can the Shulman posse take the tension? I dread to think what that corner's going to dissolve into if the ace comes on the flop. So far so good for Barry Shulman. Matt Haugen on the verge of elimination. If he goes, we'll have our final 8.
Haugen seems reserved to his fate at this point. He needs an ace, running straight cards.
Running 9s.
Or that.
Well, after the turn card, he's down to 3 outs in the deck. It has to be an ace on the river or Matt Haugen is gone. Shulman's got to fade the ace.
This is one of those times when everybody's rooting for Barry Shulman.
Especially a big guy there. Can Haugen hit an ace on the river? No, he can't, and he is gone. We have our final 8. Sadly, Matt Haugen will not be returning tomorrow for the final table, but what an achievement for this guy, and to consider that he nearly quit and flew home when he learnt that his dad was sick, but spurred on with the support of his family, he made it this far, and $150,000, Gavin.
Oh, yeah.
$150,000, a great week of work for Matt Haugen. He can go home, visit his family, and enjoy the money.
Congrats, everybody. Big final table to make.
Yes. Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
So day 5 is done.
The final table is set after 5 days of grueling play. 8 men stand above all others.
Pretty nice feeling.
Among them, the WSOP Europe main event champion, Barry Shulman, who hopes to take down this prestigious title.
That you can write about.
19-year-old Harrison Gimble, who has a shot at making poker history as the youngest PCA champion ever, and the chip leader Ryan D'Angelo, who has dominated the field on this penultimate day.
I go all in.
Who will walk away the winner? From James Hartigan and Gavin Griffin, I'm Michelle Orr. Thanks for watching the PokerStars.net Caribbean Adventure.